Hey everybody! So this week, we lost Pat Martino, an icon in the jazz guitar community. Pat was an amazing guitarist that even had the likes of George Benson blown away whenever he played. In today's lesson, I want it to be sort of a small tribute to the amazing musicianship that Pat Martino had. So we're going to cover a couple licks and concepts from his solo over his tune, Song for My Mother. We'll talk about what's going on in these licks, then talk about the concepts in them, and then finally talk about applying them and putting them into our own improvisation. All right, let's check it out right now. So our first line today sounds like this. So first off, I love how this line covers a large range on the guitar neck. This really adds a sense of drama to this line and makes it sound kind of saxophone-esque to my ears. Technically, he's playing this over a G flat 7 and throws in the sharp 11 and also pedals back and forth between the sus4 and the third. The first part of this line is the dominant 7 sharp 11 sound. It starts on the sharp 11 and then walks down to the flat 7 of our G flat 7 chord. This is a shape based off this guitar voicing. Next, we have this kind of 2-5 lick where Pat plays an E major triad and then resolves it to the 11th of D flat minor 7. This in itself is a great minor lick, but Pat adds another dimension to this when he throws in two different arpeggios, a G flat 6 arpeggio and a D flat minor triad. This type of concept where you play different arpeggios over a static kind of sound is something that Pat does a lot in his improvisation. In this case, we're playing a G flat major 6 arpeggio over a G flat dominant 7, and then we throw in that D flat minor triad, which gives us the dominant 7 sound, adding that flat 7 to the mix. We could make this into kind of an exercise where we take these two arpeggios and we run up the neck with it, and that would sound something like this. Or we could make a line where we connect these arpeggios together, which would sound something like this. Here are a couple examples of lines you can make taking the concepts that we learned from this Pat Martino lick. The next concept we're going to focus on is how Pat opens up his solo during the song. He plays these large interval jumps of 6s and 7ths. Beautiful, right? So how can we take this concept of large interval jumps and apply it to our own playing? First, I would practice playing a scale in both 6ths and 7ths. For this example, let's use a B flat melodic minor. Then once you do that, decide which spots or which intervals in that scale sound good to you, or which ones are easiest and lay best on the guitar. This can also depend on what chord you're playing over. For this example, let's say we're playing it over an A flat 7 chord. Using this scale, here are a couple interval jumps that might be good over this sound. So once you have a couple places in your scale where you can use a large interval jump, you could use it to start a line, like this. Or another way you could do this is by just playing the scale up And when you find a good note to stop on, just jump down in a large interval. Here's an example of a line using large interval jumps. The last Pat Martino concept that I want to show you today is a line that can be played over both a dominant 7 sharp 11 kind of sound or an altered sound. This is a great line for either starting a really fast run or linking it to another kind of altered line. This uses the concept that we talked about earlier, where Pat is linking arpeggios together over a static kind of sound. In this case, he's using an A flat dominant 7 arpeggio over a G flat 7 sharp 11 sound. So if we link this A flat 7 arpeggio to, say, a D flat minor chord, which would be the 2 chord of the dominant chord we're playing over, which is G flat 7, then we can get some really cool lines which sound like this. You can also play this line over a C7 altered chord, which sounds like this. If you know some other kind of altered language, this is a great line to start to lead into those other lines. Here's an example. So as you can see, these Pat Martino lines are really intricate and complex, and can also boost your single note soloing abilities when you really sit down and digest them. I wanted this short lesson to be a small tribute to Pat Martino, and I hope this week you sit down and find some Pat Martino albums that you really like, and remember how great a guitarist he really was. Thank you guys so much for watching this video about killing Pat Martino concepts. If you like this kind of content and you like what I'm doing here on this channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more content in the future. Also, I really want to say thank you guys so much for all the love on the last video. Those likes really do help this channel and really do support it, as the YouTube algorithm is just really hitting this channel hard. So please keep up with the likes and the comments and keep subscribing. That really helps me out. Also, I just want to throw in that I've had some new time slots open up in my private lesson studio. So if you're interested in lessons, make sure to send me an email. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always keep swinging.